Hey! 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 We are hey live!
Barely.
So, just before we started, Dave made a disparaging remark about the beer tonight because, he's like, I'm just recovering from a cold and drinking beer is not good for me. And I'm like, shut up and drink it anyway. And he was like, if it were a Radler, and I'm like, shut up, it's an IPA. And then, there were some fisticuffs at some point, and then I won. So therefore, we're drinking the beer. That's how this show runs, like a well-oiled cacophony of junk. So, how's it going, boys?
What? Yes,
well, Dave sounds like death warmed over.
We have Sir Haxalot joining us tonight.
Sir Haxalot is completely just survive pulling along, and apparently, Alan, you had surgery. Apparently, you of course had some minor surgery the other day, and yes, you were saying that you think that the people that operated on you were like spitting.
Well, okay, so I'm waiting to go into the OR. Right, I'm on the bed. They've done all the prep and everything. And
show us the scar.
Well, I don't have a scar yet, but these are the steri strips. So what I had is for about the past 30 years, I have had a mass in my neck. It hasn't changed at all, but my GP said, well, maybe it's time we got it looked at. So they sent me to a head and neck specialist, and they said, yeah, let's get that thing out of there. So been waiting for about a year, and so there it is there. It was apparently about a size of a pea when they got into there, which is interesting because it seemed a lot bigger than that on the outside, but whatever. So I'm laying on the bed. I'm feeling fine. I come out of there half an hour later with a head cold. I don't know how that
half an hour. That was it.
That was apparently that's how long it was. About half an hour.
Jesus, that came on like a freaking rig.
Yeah. So like felt fine going in. Half an hour later, came out full on head cold.
Oh man, that totally sucks.
So we're just kind of wondering if maybe like the OR staff and everything was like hawking loogies in me, just as, like maybe they're all standing at the back of the OR trying to see if they can get them in my mouth.
Oh,
okay, Bill, ready? Forehead. Man.
Wow, man.
I gotta say, hee. Hello.
What's the beer?
What is the beer this evening? This beer was picked by Alan about 9 years ago. And, so tell us about why you picked it, and I'm going to hold up my can.
Okay, so we touched on this last week a little bit. So this is a Galactic Space Dragon India Pale Ale from Odin Brewing. We did an Odin Brewing beer last week. This was the one that we really wanted to do last week.
We did the Super Galactic Space Dragon last week.
That's right. We did with
you guys
double IPA. So we're going to do this one this week. Now, I tried this one at a restaurant a while back and was completely enamored with it. I thought we have to do this on the show, but trying to find a way to get all of us together at the same time has been next to impossible. So basically what I did is I went to Vancouver recently. I bought a 6-pack over here in Victoria. I've given one to Shane and one to Dave. And so now we all three of us have it. And you guys owe me a beer. All right. Let's dive into her. Now, the IBU rating on this, I believe, was 67, wasn't it? 768.
Yeah.
Which we got.
How's that compared to the Super?
So the Super did not have an IBU rating. Now, based on taste alone, I would have imagined it to be about maybe a 50. Shane thought it would be closer to an 80.
I was thinking 80, but again, I don't. We didn't have the correct information. But
All right, so I'm holding mine
depending
up
on what
there.
we find out with this one, I think.
Whoa, what?
Oh my god, that's so amazing! The smell.
Okay,
Yes, it
okay.
is.
I was just gonna ask you guys.
Peanut gallery.
Yes, I have floaties.
cloudy. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
mine definitely is, and I'm rocking this today. What remains of my Boba Fett? Rocking the
nice.
Fett tonight.
Nice.
There you go, Peanut Gallery. The Peanut Gallery is happy; they have beer now. So,
All right.
yeah, it's definitely the same sort of cloudiness that we had last time or last week.
It smells like orange juice, at least to my admittedly fucked up nose right now.
It does. It actually tastes like no, I'm kidding. It does feel very much like orange juice. This actually reminds me of a beer I had yesterday. I was at a birthday party for a friend of ours, and we went to Brew Hall, and I decided to try the what was it called? The Field House Brewing guava IPA, but it had a really bizarre name. Which of course they don't have a website that seems to have their beer on it. Oh wait a minute, here we go. But yeah, they had this really incredibly bizarre guava infused beer of some sort, and it was similar to this, except picture drinking this, but I'm assuming you've had guava juice at some point.
Sure. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. But it was good anyway. But the point being is that this sort of base of a beer, I'm calling it a base, even though it's not really. But I like it. I like this cloudy, really aromatic, very flavorful kind of hop usage, which I really think is really is probably my favorite thing, which I hope someday to perfect in my own home brewing. Have you guys noticed the not only the cloudiness but the particulates in yours?
Yes, same.
Which I found I'm actually kind of surprised considering it came out of a can, but
now I will say this. I've had this a few times. I don't know if my taste buds are kind of messed up right now, but I'm not detecting the kind of robust flavor this time that I have in the past. I'm thinking that this is because my taste buds are probably a little bit messed up right now. But what do you guys think?
Well, I think that Odin Brewing has outdone themselves again. Now, here's the thing. From Odin Brewing, I really want to try the beer, which I thought might have been a joke initially when I first saw it, last week before, called the Screaming Viking. And it's their strong lager, they call it, 6.2%. And isn't Screaming Viking that beer or the drink from Cheers?
I
didn't watch Cheers.
Like the Flaming Moe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I just looked it up, and there it is.
Oh, okay.
There's an episode of Cheers where the lead character, the bartender, Sam Malone, is replaced by he has a fight with the owner of the bar, and they decide to. I think the whole idea was they were going to fire him, and they replaced him with a bartender that knew everything about bartending. He was a nice guy, but kind of a wet blanket. They didn't really like him. They wanted Sam back, of course. So the whole idea was that they had to invent a drink that this guy couldn't possibly ever know because it didn't exist. And somehow the Screaming Viking became this thing within that episode. And then
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, and I remember the very last scene was them all, Sam had come in and made the Screaming Viking, or whoever the hell made it. Maybe it was Woody. It doesn't matter. Anyway, so they made the drink and gave it out to everybody, and then the guy's like, "Fine, I'm out of here," and he leaves. And then they all turn around and spit it out because it's disgusting, whatever it is they made. So I have to say, I give a nod to Odin Brewing for making something called the Screaming Viking, and I hope I won't have to spit it out. I guess it's really the long end of the story there, because we don't want to have that going on. So, but overall, this beer, final verdict, We give it a thumbs up of awesome.
I give it a thumbs up. I wouldn't today, but I've had this enough that I know what it tastes like normally, and yes, I would give it a thumbs up. Dave, what do you think?
Well, I don't think this will shock you guys. This is a little more bitter than I tend to like my beers. But otherwise, I think I'm just gonna my taste buds are probably pretty much as screwed up as yours are, Alan. So
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I can give it a fair shake. Put it that way.
All right.
But yes, there is definitely a good stock of bitterness in this.
Right.
Which, as you guys know,
yeah.
I'm not a big fan of.
Right. Shane, where would you say this stacks up with, say, Fat Tug and Fresh Squeezed and all that kind of stuff?
I would.
I think you've put him in a difficult place, sir.
Well, the Fat Tug is right now in our little neck of the world. Fat Tug is held very high in high esteem because it has,
and rightfully so.
And rightfully so. And it has a very nice, because it has a very nice mouthfeel. You've got a little bit of effervescence going on when you're drinking it. It has the right sort of balance of hop usage. It's got it smells great. It's got a nice sort of bitterness to it, which is sort of not overly so. And this has a nice flavor. I mean, it's something that you could, if you get to a place and you're just not sure what kind of beer you'd want, and you see Fat Tug on the menu, you can never go wrong. So, but I have to say that it's pretty good, but Fat Tug is like that pinnacle. I mean,
I'm like you. I love Fat Tug, but if there's a knock on Fat Tug, and this is a personal knock, I find it extraordinarily filling. So if I get a can or a bottle of Fat Tug, I get about halfway through and I'm enjoying it, and then I'm full, and then I've got to sort of, I don't want to waste it, right? So I'll drink the rest of it, but it's like, my stomach starts to hurt and all that. I don't find that with this. This is an easier drinking IPA for me.
Okay, I get, yeah, because I could say sometimes, you pop your Fat Tug and it's like, I don't know if I can do it. I can't do it. I don't know if I can do it, man. I don't know. Oh, it's so good. Oh my god, I got to.
It's so good, but I mean, your stomach is distended and everything. And so, how would you rate this compared with the Super Galactic from last week?
I would say that to me it tastes the same.
Oh, really?
See,
I found the Super Galactic a little bit sweeter.
What we're gonna have to do is actually have this again with the Super Galactic by it and just double fist it to find out exactly what the taste difference is. I don't see a problem with that.
No, me neither. I have no problem with it.
But so I think that the beer wins the week. It has definitely overpowered us with its awesomeness. Yeah, and you guys are sick.
I'm hoping this beer helps to kill my freaking cold.
I worked with a guy many years ago that used to firmly believe that the way to fix any illness, if you felt an illness coming on or anything, you had to drink beer and smoke weed. Because apparently the beer would somehow magically, I don't know, fix your.
Is this guy still alive?
Or something. But that's a very good question. I assume he must. I don't know. But he had this theory that the alcohol would kill the bugs in your bloodstream, and if you had enough weed in your system that somehow your immune system would finish it off. So I don't know. I never quite bought into it. The whole drunk and
sounds
high
like a bit
way
of pseudoscience to me.
Yeah, well, I mean, Dave, what do you think?
Oh no, it sounds solid to me. A couple of fatties in a 6-pack. Hey,
I was.
I wonder what the Mayo Clinic would say.
That's a good title for something. A couple of fatties and a 6-pack. That's like a new health channel by the Crafty Boys. It's just us sitting there smoking weed and drinking beer and being like, "Look how healthy we are." We're totally not going to be ill ever again.
and we're off to a flying start with 2 of us with colds and 1 of us just had a surgery.
That's true. I mean, we're made of pretty solid stuff up here as Canadians. We can go and
That's right.
get dunked under the world or the realm of general anesthetic, have a doctor like take a knife to our throat, and then I mean, Alan, do you feel strong? Do you feel lively?
Sure. I just wish I didn't have this wound here. That's the one thing. I wish I didn't have that.
Well, what can I do? I mean, I'm just the only thing I seriously thought over the since probably the beginning of February that I would wind up ill. I would get a cold or something, but I somehow have managed to dodge it. I don't know how I've done it. I just wash my hands, and every so often I tell myself, "You're an antivirus killing mother," and it just seems to work. So I get my body going, and but see, now that I've said it though, tomorrow morning I'm gonna wake up. Although I will say that allergies have been kicking my ass for the last couple weeks, though.
No, the allergies are so bad this year.
I don't understand how I have not dunked my head into gasoline and set my face on fire. Have you actually? Well, okay, minor detail. But have you actually been following these whole like the pollen counts or anything?
No.
So the pollen count for now, I'm going to bring up the report list because they do test apparently in most places. Let's see. Where's I don't know, Courtney? How do you spell Courtney, Dave?
COUR.
TENAY.
Indeed. How do you know that, Alan?
Because I live on Vancouver Island.
Yeah, but for most people down there, the world stops at Nanaimo, so I'm impressed you know how to spell the name of the town. That's not a knock against him, but...
All right, so Courtney, now currently the pollen count for the last 3 days in Courtney is listed as moderate because of cedar.
You don't get an actual value, you just get...
Well, you can actually get much more detail. But for Vancouver, let's see, Vancouver is currently moderate only. Oh, that's interesting. So basically what that means is that there's between 20 and 80 grams, or sorry, pollen things per square meter or something.
Pollen things.
Pollen things, those pollen things. Pollen grains, sorry. Victoria, same. So we're actually doing not too bad right now, because I actually remember last year at this time it was almost nothing. At least I didn't have a reaction at all. But the year before last, the pollen count was like 300, 400, 500 sort of grains per square cubed meter, whatever it is.
Wow.
So
sorry, not grains, things.
Sorry, right.
But that is the official unit of measurement for pollen.
Now, I will point out that apparently, according to the trees that I'm actually allergic to, I would be okay in Courtney or Campbell River. Victoria, though, alder trees, man. Alder trees get me all the time. I don't quite understand why.
Huh.
Horrible. Absolutely
horrible.
Well,
I think they give off a shit ton of pollen.
Yeah.
I don't even want to think what they're doing there too.
You would not do well around my place, my friend.
But on that note, we'll leave it there because I want these guys to go to bed and get well so they can be ready to drink a copious amounts of beer next Wednesday. So please do all the social media things. Tell people about the show. Do all the subscription stuff. I gather there's a bell. Have you guys heard this? There's a bell thing you can like click on and
I've
stuff.
heard something about a bell
What?
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a bell, you know, so you can click on that bell, and apparently, you know,
ring
when
that
we
bell.
are ring that bell. But anyway,
Somebody's ringing the bell.
I had my bell rung on the Crafty boys. So anyway, enough of that. Thank you, everyone,
Okay.
and we'll see you all next week. Alan, as always, take us out.